we've looked at selecting a psychiatrist and what to expect with medicines, let's just look at the most basic things that you could start doing right this second, right? Basics. Eating, sleeping, working out, grooming, right? So a great passage in the Bible is it talks about how we need to be faithful in the small things, right? Or be faithful in the small things, will be given larger things. And I have a whole nother video on this that you can watch called How to Live in a Peak State. But to give you some of the basics, when you are struggling with depression, anxiety, or bipolar, a lot of times doctors will say, oh, you know, ideally you should be getting some exercise, and you know, you should really try to get some sleep, and you know, try to be good with your nutrition and eating. And they say these things like they're elective. And the thing is, guys, is that they're not elective. So when somebody tells you in that way, like it is elective, what happens is you don't do it. You're like, I'm not gonna listen to that whole sleeping thing, and I'm not gonna listen to the working out thing. And what I'm here to tell you is that you have to do those things or you're gonna fail. If you want to live and you want to survive and continue in this life, you have to do these things. These are an enormous, enormous dictator of whether you make it or not, whether you get healthy or not, whether you get to the proverbial other side or not, right? So eating, I'm not a nutritionist, but try to get maybe like your 3 meals a day, you know, try to have a relatively balanced diet, try to eat relatively healthy, not a bunch of fast food, not a bunch of candy and sugar, whatever, you know, lower fat, lower sugar, whatever, healthy, right? Sleeping, 8 hours, reasonable time. By reasonable time, I mean going to bed at a reasonable time, waking up at a reasonable time, ideally at the same time if you can. But you know, not going to bed at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning consistently, right? That's gonna completely screw you up, and it's gonna be very, very difficult for you to get healthy and make it to the other side. Sleeping 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Even healthy people can't do that without paying an enormous price, right? So these things are not elective. You have to sleep 8 hours if you ever want to make it to the other side of this. You have to sleep at reasonable times. Does that mean you can never ever stay up again late in your life? No. It just means that if every single night you're going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, you're gonna pay a price, especially when your health is not good and you're trying to get better and you're doing that. It's not smart, guys. So I like to stay up late. I'm a night owl, but understand that especially as you're becoming healthy and you're going through these hard times, you have to do these things. You pay, like I said, even healthy people pay an enormous price not to. The price you pay is so big that you may not survive if you don't do this, right? And that might sound like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not exaggerating. Working out, I mean, the most ideal would be daily. I would say at least 3 to 4 times a week. You might say, well, Justin, that's overwhelming. I'm not doing anything right now. Okay, well, start with going 1 day a week for 10 minutes, you know? Do whatever you can handle and build up from that. But, you know, they say that if you could put all the benefits of working out into a pill and take that pill, that it would be, you know, the most valuable and most marketable and most purchased, you know, medicine of all time by far, and most effective. So this is true for normal, healthy people. This is especially true for those of us that struggle with these things, right? So these things give you a chance to get to the other side and be healthy, right? To be on as little or no medicine, if that's possible for you, and to have a great life, right? The life that you want. So these might seem like a hassle, and I'm telling you, your doctors are gonna say that these are just things that'd be nice if you did. I'm telling you, you have to, assuming you ever want to get out of what you're in, right? Eating, sleeping, working out. Grooming. This is another important one. So grooming, when you're depressed, anxious, bipolar, you sort of don't really care about your appearance. The problem is when we don't care about our appearance, we sort of just feel a lot more gross. And that's even true for healthy, normal people, right? The way we groom ourselves does affect ourselves, even for people without mental health struggle. And so you want to try to do things that where you need to leave the house, and then knowing that you're gonna need to leave the house, get your hair cut, consistently, shave, hygiene, cologne, portraying yourself well, that you're comfortable, that you like the way you feel. I know this can be tough because you don't feel like doing this stuff when you have depression, but I can tell you that when you groom yourself, you feel better. Even people without this stuff, they feel better. It's something very small that you can just try to do a good job of that's gonna make you feel better. So if you had to start somewhere, like literally right now, right this second, that you could start doing now that would make an immediate impact, these are the things you do. Eating, sleeping, working out, grooming. You can start doing those things today. The better job you do on these things, the more likely you're gonna get through all this. The worse job you do with all these things, I wanna say it's not likely that you will, but it's almost guaranteed that you will not make it through this. So this is not elective. See these things like taking your medicine. Same way you have to take your medicine every night to get better, right? This is like your medicine too. You have to take it. Take a screenshot of this if you need to. I'm gonna erase it and we're gonna go on to the next thing.